Good morning, everybody, and very nice to have you all connected. So let me share my screen in full screen. Okay. So we are very happy to have this new webinar with one of our partners today, with Obvios, and we have the chance to have two people from the Obvios team who are connected with us. So Valérie, who is the marketing and sales manager at Obvios. So she will be able to walk us through the Obvios solution and some use cases. We have as well Cédric, who is the integration and support engineer for Obvios. He has been very involved into the integration of the solution within the ecosystem, the Equinox ecosystem, and he will be able to run the demo today. As usually, we have our friend Sebastien, who is there with our sales engineer, and he will be able to run the demo of the SixSq marketplace to explain how it works, what we can achieve from that, and on a global perspective. And myself, Damien, your beloved sales director, and I'm there to help you on any project that you may have. So today the agenda for the next 28 minutes will be to briefly explain who is Equinox and what we have with the SixSq marketplace on the edge computing. Then we will give the ball to the Obvios team to do the presentation, and we'll go through some demos to see real use cases of this private 5G core solution which can be deployed within less than 2 minutes in a real world. So it's very impressive and very attractive. So we are running several implementation at the moment, and we really like this solution and the opportunities that it gives to the Equinox prospects and customers. So maybe first of all, I will start with an Equinox mission statement, which gives you a good direction on why we are doing that today. So the goal of the company is really to provide open solution where we can add innovative solution that will bring value added services to the enterprises and the service providers. And so in this manner, we opened the Equinox solution a long time ago to be able to add containers into that, to be able to add VNFs and any other solution that helps to add more value on the final side of the network. So, and we have been very focused on the service provider, on the large enterprises, to provide many devices that are deployed on the market. So this is more than 4 million devices with a lot of large service providers and a lot of optical customers in the US and abroad. And all these service providers, the idea is for you guys to be able to leverage the ability of the devices to host new application. And one of these applications is the 5G, because we have seen that there is more and more need for connecting to high-speed network, whether they are physical networks or they are wireless networks. So more bandwidth equals, fiber with higher connections, but as well on the 5G is to provide more traffic, more abilities to connect consumers on IoT devices and devices anytime, anywhere. And we have as well another focus in the company, which is all the SDN features, including the SD-WAN and the VNF features, to virtualize as many components as we can, to be very flexible in terms of hardware support, in terms of go-to-market. So you can select, you can use Equinox hardware, you can use other third-party hardware, depending on the need that there is on the market. And a fourth target as well is the edge computing, is the ability to support our end user customers through business application by deploying new applications that will be useful on their sector. So it could be energy application, it could be manufacturing application, it could be communication, it could be monitoring. So many different possibilities, and we'll talk about that. But I will say the base in our discussion is to have an Equinox device, an Equinox router. We have different flavors of these routers. We have as well third-party devices, which can be provided by us or or by directly acquired by the customer, of course, which can be based on Dell solution, on Silicom, on Lanner, on Advantech, or HP, or any solution that could be used to install on it an Equinox operating system called 106. And on top, we are able to activate features depending on what you need on it. So if you need switching features, routing, voice gateways, SD-WAN solution, virtualization, edge computing solution. So you can select and add all of these features on the devices. So, and some of these features could include virtual network functions. So it's VNF, so deployed as kind of VM inside the components. And it can be very specialized components for security or for SD-WAN or whatever makes sense. And we have as well the new Vlaio marketplace that is focused on containers, so Docker and Kubernetes containers that can be deployed on the same devices. So basically, a customer can pick and choose the components that you need for a specific use case. And we have more than 50 different partners that we are working with. And today we have the Obvios team that is there with us to explain what they are doing on their solution. The Obvios solution is a private 5G core. So it's not the 5G as a client, but it's the 5G as a server to be able to activate 5G features and have people connecting, managing connection from devices and routers to connect on the 5G network. And we'll explain a bit more. Inside our edge computing ecosystem, we have as well 5G toolkits, so a solution to do monitoring of the latencies, performance, connection of the 5G, which are as well available in the new Vla marketplace. But today we will focus on the Obvios part. The idea is when you have the device deployed, you can go in the Edge application store. Inside this application store called New Vlaio, you have open source application, open source containers. You have a private application, so everybody can load his own application into the platform. And you have as well other vendors' application like Obvios who are uploading their containers into the platform, so you can pick and choose different flavors and deploy it on one or many devices. And the idea is that this is a pay-as-you-use model where you deploy the solution on one or multiple devices and pay the consumption on the yearly basis or 3 years basis, whatever makes sense for you. Okay, when you have deployed this container on the device, it will connect to different IoT devices locally, sensors, cameras, mic, temperatures, RAN access network to provide the application locally. Okay, so this is very secure. You can manage thousands of devices, so it means you could deploy a private 5G network, a private 5G core on 10,000 devices within a couple of clicks, assuming that you have the radio access networks deployed or connected, of course, to the devices. But it's very easy to deploy any application for many, many devices for you or for an end user who is consuming your services. Okay, and we do support any kind of ARM or x86 servers. It's not limited to the traditional Equinox router. So if I can give you an example of a private 5G deployment, and then I will give the ball to the experts to talk about it. But you could have an OVP, an Equinox OVP solution, which is a router, an Equinox router. That is connected to the cloud through a landline, so it could be a fiber connection, for example, or MPLS connection to the cloud, or it can be as well connected through a satellite network. So this is a use case that we see more and more. So you could have eventually both connections. So the OVP will be able to do a dynamic routing between both connections, so to select the right path to communicate to data centers on cloud. And you can select the best path for each application. So when it's connected, someone will go on the new Vlaio platform and say, okay, I need to deploy a 5G core network into this OVP to create a 5G bubble. So you click on it, you will say, okay, I need to have this container deployed on the OVP. I have a radio access network which is connected on it. And then automatically, within a few minutes, and this is a demo that we'll do a little bit later, within a few minutes, we can deploy a dome, a bubble, a 5G bubble. I like this sentence, but we can create a 5G bubble to cover a manufacturing area, a field, a mining industry, woods where people are cutting woods, scenery. And this is based on 5G, private 5G, secured with your own network. So it could be, let's say, Damien's 5G network, and only the authorized devices can connect. So the devices you can connect to this network are any device that can communicate on 5G, of course. So it can be the one 5G, one access, the Equinox router, the one 5G, with acting as a client in that case. It can be as well devices like iPhones and iPads or whatever, computers that have the 5G key, who will connect on this private network. So, and all that can be deployed on landline, but it can be deployed as well on the boat. There is no limitation on where you can deploy these solutions. Okay. So that being said, I will give the ball to Valérie, so she will be able to give you a little bit more background on the Obvios company and what they are doing, why we do work with them, because it's another French company that we have been following and interacting for quite a bit of time. So Valérie, the floor is yours.
Hello. Thank you, Damien. Hello, everyone. So I hope you see my screen. So I will start with a brief introduction to Obvios, and then I will present you our innovative 5G solution, the bubble. After that, I will give the floor to Sebastien and Cédric for the demo. So who is Obvios? So we are a software company based in France. Obvios is a spin-off of a French technological research institute with strong expertise in mobile connectivity, cybersecurity, and also advanced software technologies. By leveraging cloud computing tools and methods, we want to be more agile and responsive in both the development of our private 5G solution and also our client interactions. Our goal is innovate and simplify in order to propose the best 5G connectivity solution to our customers. As mentioned by Damien, we cater to various sectors with 5G, private 5G, including industry, utilities, defense, public safety, and also healthcare and media. Each of these sectors is highly interested in the advantages and also performance that private 5G networks can offer and allowing them to address multiple new use cases. So let's speak a bit about the private network and the 5G. So private networks differ from the public networks in their ability to offer more direct, secure, and personalized data management and communication. In addition to the fact that your data remain in your premises, private networks offer enhanced security mechanisms that effectively protect sensitive data of the corporate or the company. In terms of performance, you benefit from dedicated radio frequency, preventing you from interferences or lack of bandwidth. It provides you dedicated coverage, and it is beneficial in remote or high-density environments like factories, campus, or large venues. The compute resource is also your property, and it will minimize the downtime or the interruption of service. In terms of management, you have also with a private network a total control of this network, since you control which device and user can be connected to your network. You control the data traffic, the quality of service of your network. And this customization extends to bandwidth allocation and full network configurations, something you can't do if you use a public network. In terms of performance, with a private network, the performance, and especially in 5G, the performances are really optimized and characterized by a very low latency, very high bandwidth, and also massive connectivity, which are essential for industrial application requiring fast time response and also smooth communication. If we want to, so this is some new use cases we can implement using private 5G network. So it is a way to accelerate the digitalization and introduce real-time data processing. As example, we can mention use of high-definition cameras to allow perimeter surveillance. So in that case, you will provide a physical security of the property, but also of the people. With the 5G, you can allow the connection of wireless cameras, which is easier to install, of course, and possibly you will also be able to use artificial intelligence application as close as possible to the location of the image capture to process this image. Technologies such as augmented reality, virtual reality, or also digital twins can express also the full potential with the private 5G, thanks to the high throughput and the reduced latency times. Another typical use case is the real-time monitoring that allow rapid detection of anomalies and improve the quality and the traceability in an industrial environment. The very low latency capability of a private 5G network can also allow you to secure the use of AGV, so AGV, automated the guided vehicle, and drones. And this is new use case we see for process automation and predictive maintenance. And also, we have with the 5G private the use of what we call critical multimedia communication, which is a way to share in the same time video, voice, and also data. All that in real time. So this is, yes, typical use case, but it's not an exhaustive list. Perhaps here just a reminder of what is a 5G network architecture. So this 5G network architecture is decomposed in different entities. First, and as mentioned by Damien, you have the 5G device, the user equipment. That could be, of course, a smartphone, a tablet, but also with new use case, security cameras, sensors, connected glasses, routers, or AGV. After that, you have also the radio part, so the RAN, the radio access network, called G-Node B in 5G. So this element carries, in fact, the information from the user equipment to the core network. And this core network, the 5GC, is in fact the central component of the solution. It provides the control plane in charge of the signaling and the user plane function in charge of the data processing. The main responsibility of the 5G core is to authenticate the device and also aggregate their data traffic over your private 5G network. And of course, this private network, even if it's private, is not alone and can be connected to external data. So you have the possibility to connect this private network to external data, such as intranet or internet, for example. And all these elements communicate with standardized API-based interfaces. So about DOME and our solution. So as a software company, we have designed DOME, which is a secure connectivity solution providing private 5G network. DOME is a software solution developed according to the 3GPP standard, meaning that it guarantees a complete interoperability with the ecosystem. DOME is also developed on the latest cloud-native technology, meaning that the architecture is natively resilient and ready for edge computing. It allows to deploy new service more quickly and reduce operating expenses. This enables to build and iterate network functions faster with greater scalability and flexibility than before. It is a flexible also and easy to manage solution. You can connect to an existing IT system, for example, to manage. Within DOME, we have also an option which is named DOME Intelligent Security, which is a software-based cybersecurity system that provides advanced and AI-based cyber threats detection and response mechanism. So it will prevent, in fact, it will protect your private network from the threats coming from the external interface of the network. If you are a link, for example, to an intranet, an internet, or a remote management system. As a cloud-native solution, you can deploy DOM solution on various hardware. So it could be cloud data centers, transportable platforms, or edge servers. And in particular, it can be deployed on Neuvla Edge, the edge computing solution of Equinox, via the Neuvla IO marketplace, as previously described by Damien. Here, finally, I want to represent the private 5G network deployment using Neuvla. So today, the demo will focus on 5G core deployment within DOM. But as explained by Damien, we could do the same thing with the management system part of DOM or with the optional cybersecurity system of DOM, and also with the software part of the RAN solution and any other business application processing new use cases implementing under this private 5G network. So I will give the floor now to, yeah.
Actually, Valérie, to answer one of the question, what is the spectrum that the solution is using?
So the private network, it depends of the country, but mainly the new frequency for the 5G private is band 67 or 68, meaning it's between 3.5 gigahertz and 4.2.
Okay, thank you. And what we do provide, just to answer the two questions, we do provide the package that we provide is the hardware, or it can be Equinox hardware or another hardware, the software, the Obvios software, and the Equinox software. And the radio access network can be purchased directly by the end user or provided through the Obvios partnership. It depends on what the preference is on the end user side. And we have and we follow. And by the way, I don't know if you have some preferred radio access network solution or.
The interface between the radio access network and the core is standardized. So the radio will be chosen according to the frequency, the area, to the coverage, expected coverage area. So we have different partnership on the radio part.
Okay, thanks, Valérie. Sebastien, I give you the floor. You have a couple of minutes. I'm sorry for the rush.
Okay. Thank you, Valérie. Thank you, Damien. So let me briefly show you Neuvla.io, our edge computing management platform, and then I will give the floor to Cédric for the actual deployment of the 5G core. So here I will focus on two tabs of Neuvla.io. So this is what we call the marketplace. So it's a mix of third-party application and application of people wanting to share the application with you as a user. Or obviously you can put your own application. It's very, very easy to do, either Dockerized application or Kubernetes application. So if I look at the Obvios solution, so we created what we call an application bouquet. It's a way of grouping applications. So it gives you more granularity. You can put your application on the platform and then say, okay, I want to deploy this group of application because they have to be together to make a solution. So in this case, you can see you have 8 different Kubernetes application in the DOM core bouquet. And if I enter one, I will not go very deep in detail, but you can see here it's a Kubernetes application, and there's the Kubernetes manifest describing the app. Now, if I switch on the Edge tab, I have the view of my devices linked to my account. So meaning the devices where I can deploy easily application. I clicked the device online here, and I have a couple of info. We send telemetry back to Neuvla to monitor devices. So I have info about the location of this device, information about the resource consumption, etc. I think that's it on my side. Now I'll give the floor to Cédric to show us the actual deployment of the Obvios 5G core.
Okay, so I will show you now deployment of the core part of the DOM with Nuvla. So it is deployed on one hour cluster, which is in our premises, like Sebastien showed us just previously. So just to introduce the different elements, so we have the Nuvla.io portal to administrate, to orchestrate the deployments on our Nuvla Edge, which is in our premises. And I will show you the view of the cluster with the pods. You will see the different network function of a 5G core network. You also, so I can start.
I think Cédric, we lost you. Oh, Valérie, you did mute.
Sorry, there was a mistake with shortcuts.
No worries.
So I try to start the demo. So where I was. On the Nuvla portal, here we will use Nuvla 1 Edge to make the deployment. And the application which is deployed is a core part. So with the control plane and user plane part, which are the main parts in order to have a 5G core working. This is the application, and so we have some version of this application during our integration, which has been done. So after this is G0B ASCII for the demo. So we have a little web UI interface in order to administrate. So here it is not connected to any AMF, any core. So it's the current state of the ASCII run. And after I show you a view from the cluster, which is currently installed with just the third parties part of the DOM. So just for the OEM part with supervision or authentication. So the main part, the core part, is not installed at this time, of course. Okay, and the last part, which is a smartphone, it's our UI to test the link to data user network, and which is a cross-call smartphone. Okay, so now we can deploy the application from the Nuvla Edge. So from the application part, we choose the edge and click deploy. By default, the application version is the last one we do. And deployment starts with a queued state. We just have to wait some seconds, and it will be in running state. And we saw behind that some pods are currently created. So now I switch on the cluster part, and we saw that the core control plane part is currently deploying with the network function of the IMF, which is the contact point for the G0B for the signaling parts. And we have the core UPF, which is a core user plane part in order to user data to go through. So we saw on the right side the timing for the deployment. So most of the parts are done in less than 40 seconds, and we have just the last part with the PDU session server, and it is okay about 1 minute. So the SMF PDU session server is one of the network function part which is in contact of the core UP, user plane. So now our core is deployed now, so we can check on the GNetB part that is connected. Here we have a 5G NR SA service. Okay, I just refresh the page because we saw that the sales state was not in service, so now it is in service. So the GNetB is connected now to our core part, and we can test our smartphone to register to the core network. Okay, so I let my smartphone in airplane mode, so I exit from airplane mode. And we saw that internet looks okay. Yes, 5G is here. So now I can try to contact the nuvla.io website. Looks fine. So the deployment is okay for me. We've got a service with data network, okay. So this is the conclusion for me for the demo about the deployment of the core part of Dome. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Cédric. So to answer some of the question, yes, we will provide the replay. So everything is recorded. So we will put it on YouTube and we can send you a link. If you have any question or if you want to go deeper into the demo, we can do it anytime. But as you have seen, the idea is we can deploy an Equinox hardware somewhere in the world, use the marketplace to deploy the Obvios container in it to create a 5G bubble very quickly with some pre-configured parameters, but of course you can fine tune it. But the idea is if it's pre-configured, you can make it much more easier. And then to use a radio access network to create the connection for many devices. This is much more powerful for large sites when you, instead of deploying many Wi-Fi devices or many Ethernet cables, it's interesting to have a 5G network. So, so that being said, we are a little bit over time. So Valérie, Cédric, thank you so much for your time. Sebastien as well, of course. So I wish you all a very good end of the week and a very good weekend. And see you next for the next webinar.